The massive Galactic Council ships darkened Earth's skies as they entered orbit. People worldwide stared upward in fear and wonder. After centuries of wondering if we were alone in the universe, humanity had its answer. And it wasn't friendly. In Seoul, Admiral Kim Ji-woo stood in the United Earth Defense Force Command Center, surrounded by screens showing the alien vessels. Each ship stretched kilometers long, dwarfing Earth's largest spacecraft. Military bases worldwide went to highest alert, but Kim knew their conventional weapons would be useless against such advanced technology. "Signal incoming," announced Communications Officer Park. The main screen flickered to life. The alien that appeared had gray-blue skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and spoke through a translation device. "People of Earth, I am High Counselor Urix of the Galactic Council. Your planet is now under our protection and administration." Kim's face remained calm despite the shock rippling through the command center. Protection, she thought, was rarely the true word for what came next. "We represent 5,000 civilizations across this galaxy arm. Earth will now join as a protectorate status world," Urix continued. "We have observed your development for centuries. Your species shows concerning behavioral patterns, aggression, resource consumption, technological development without corresponding ethical advancement." Lee Tahoe, Earth's hastily appointed diplomat, stepped forward. "We welcome peaceful contact, Counselor. Perhaps we could discuss." "This is not a negotiation," Urix interrupted. "Earth will provide quarterly tribute of rare minerals, biological specimens, and 10,000 human workers for Council projects. Your compliance ensures your continued development under our guidance. Refusal means pacification." The command center fell silent. Kim's hand tightened on the edge of the console, but her face betrayed nothing. "You have 1 Earth month to organize your first tribute delivery. Instructions for collection points will follow." The transmission ended. President Yoon addressed Kim when the screens went dark. "Admiral, what options do we have?" "Sir, this is the scenario we've prepared for." Kim's voice was steady. 15 years ago, our deep space monitoring stations detected encrypted signals. We couldn't decode them, but they were clearly artificial and not directed at Earth. That discovery accelerated the Star Destroyer program. The president looked skeptical. "The theoretical ships, they're still in development." "No, sir. They're operational." Kim pressed a button, and a hidden screen revealed underground hangars on 6 continents. Inside each, massive black ships waited, vessels unlike anything humans had publicly acknowledged building. After finding those signals, we diverted funding from a dozen countries through black budget projects. The Star Destroyers were designed specifically to counter advanced alien technology, based on what little we could learn from studying those intercepted transmissions. "How many?" 30 fully operational ships with specialized electromagnetic pulse weapons that can disable advanced systems without destroying them. They're powered by our breakthrough in dark energy reactors, technology we've kept hidden even from most world governments. The defense minister looked shocked. How was this kept secret? Compartmentalization. Each team thought they were working on theoretical technology or small components. Only a few people knew the complete picture. The president stared at the screens showing the alien ships. "Will they be enough?" "We don't know," Kim admitted, "but they're more than the Council expects us to have. They think we're primitive. Their mistake." Over the next week, the Council sent smaller ships into Earth's atmosphere, mapping resources and setting up monitoring stations. Publicly, world leaders discussed how to gather the demanded tribute. Privately, Kim coordinated with commanders from the other hidden bases. In an underground facility beneath the Sahara, Kim met with Captain Han Sung-min, who would lead the main attack squadron. "They're overconfident," Han said, studying the alien ship movements. "Their ships maintain minimal defensive postures. They don't see us as a threat." "That's our only advantage," Kim replied. "We'll need precise coordination. If we strike, We must neutralize their entire fleet simultaneously. Any survivors could call for reinforcements. In the third week, Kim briefed the United Nations Security Council in a secure bunker. We propose rejection of their demands, she explained. Instead, we demonstrate our Star Destroyers and demand recognition as equals. That's madness, the British representative argued. We've seen their technology. We should comply while building our defenses secretly. They'll strip our planet bare before we catch up, Kim countered. And humans working as their labor force will suffer. We have one advantage: surprise. They don't believe we have advanced technology. If we fail, ask the representative from Nigeria. Then we're in the same position we are now, but with fewer cards to play, Kim admitted. I believe this is our only chance to determine our own future. After tense debate, the council voted to support Kim's plan. In the command center on the final day of the ultimatum, Kim watched the council ships descend toward the designated collection points. Millions of people had been evacuated from these areas under the pretense of safety. No tribute awaits them, she said quietly. Only our answer. She picked up the secure communication device. All Star Destroyer captains, this is Admiral Kim. Operation Independence is go. Launch on my mark. Across the planet, the secret hangar doors opened. The Star Destroyers rose into the sky. Sleek, black vessels with technology no human had publicly acknowledged creating. Their dark energy reactors hummed with power that bent light around their hulls. 3, 2, 1 mark. The Star Destroyers accelerated upward, faster than any Earth vessel had moved before. Within minutes, they surrounded the surprised Council fleet. Kim opened a channel to the Council command ship. High Counselor Urix, this is Admiral Kim Ji-woo of Earth. We reject your demand for tribute. We offer instead an alliance between equals or nothing at all. On the main screen, Urix's 4 eyes widened in shock. This is impossible. Your species lacks the technology for these vessels. You underestimated us. Kim replied simply. Humans don't respond well to threats. We're offering peace between equals. The choice is yours. As the Council ships raised their weapons, Kim gave the order. All ships, execute defensive protocol. The Star Destroyers activated their specialized electromagnetic systems, preparing for humanity's first interstellar confrontation, and possibly its last stand for freedom. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Kim Ji-woo walked through the massive underground hangar. Workers in jumpsuits rushed around the sleek black vessel that dominated the space. The Star Destroyer Defiance stood nearly ready for battle, its hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. How much longer? Kim asked Chief Engineer Song. Song wiped sweat from his brow. 36 hours, Admiral. We're installing the final energy dampening systems. Make it 24. The Council won't wait. Similar scenes played out in hidden facilities across Earth. Under the Gobi Desert, beneath the Amazon rainforest, deep in the Australian outback, and in Antarctic caverns, humanity's secret weapons neared completion. The Star Destroyer program had begun 15 years earlier after detecting alien transmissions, but now the timetable had accelerated dramatically. Kim's secure phone buzzed. The Security Council is ready, her aide said. In a conference room 50 levels up, screens showed military leaders from 20 countries. Some faces showed fear, others determination. Production status? Kim asked. India facility reports 96% completion, General Patel said. Russia facility at 94%, Colonel Sokolov added. One by one, the commanders reported. Most ships were nearly ready, though some weapon systems remained untested. We have 7 days before the Council expects their tribute, Kim reminded them. We must be ready in 5. After the meeting, Kim flew to Geneva for the critical summit. In a secure underground bunker, leaders from every major nation gathered. Above them, Council scout ships monitored Earth's activities, expecting to see preparation for tribute collection. Admiral Kim will present the military assessment, Secretary General Okafor announced. Kim stood before the world's most powerful people. The Council ships contain technology far beyond our public capabilities. Their energy shields can withstand our conventional weapons. Their propulsion systems operate on principles our mainstream science is only beginning to understand. Murmurs filled the room. Some leaders looked defeated already. However, Kim continued, "We are not as helpless as they believe." She activated a holographic display showing a Star Destroyer. For 15 years, the Star Destroyer program has developed in absolute secrecy. These ships represent technology we've kept hidden even from our own people. She explained the vessel's capabilities. The dark energy reactors provide nearly unlimited power. The hulls contain metamaterials that absorb sensor scans. Most importantly, we've developed energy-dampening weapons designed specifically to disable alien technology without destroying the ships. The president of Brazil leaned forward. "How? We've never encountered their technology before. We've been intercepting their communications for years," Kim explained. "Our scientists reverse-engineered principles from the data patterns. We may not understand all their technology, but we know how to disrupt it." The room erupted in debate. Some leaders wanted to comply with the tribute demands, while secretly building defenses. Others supported immediate military action. "If we submit now, we'll never break free," Kim argued. "They'll establish permanent monitoring stations. They'll take our resources, our people, and they'll discover our Star Destroyers before they're deployed in sufficient numbers." The Chinese premier spoke. "What exactly do you propose, Admiral?" "A show of force and an offer of peace as equals. We reveal our fleet when they arrive for tribute. We demonstrate our capabilities by neutralizing but not destroying one of their ships. Then we open negotiations as technological peers, not as subjects." The vote was close, but Kim's plan won approval. The following day, she assembled the Star Destroyer commanding officers in a secure virtual meeting. "You've been chosen because you're the best pilots and tacticians on Earth," Kim told them. "Each of you will command a vessel with 200 crew members. The fate of our planet depends on your performance." Captain Choi Jun-ho of the Defiance asked the question on everyone's mind. "What if they bring reinforcements? Our intelligence suggests their nearest major fleet is 3 light years away. If we fail, yes, they could bring overwhelming force. But if we succeed in this first confrontation, we'll have time to negotiate before they can mobilize." Kim assigned targets and positions. Each Star Destroyer would need to neutralize at least one Council ship without destroying it. "Remember, we're demonstrating restraint as well as power," she emphasized. "We're not starting a war, we're preventing one." After the meeting, Kim visited the crew quarters where pilots practiced in virtual simulators. These men and women had trained for years without knowing their true purpose, believing they were part of an advanced aerospace research program. In the main simulator, pilot Lee Min-ho executed a perfect maneuver against a simulated alien vessel. "Excellent work," Kim said when he finished. Lee saluted. "Thank you, Admiral. May I ask something?" "Go ahead." "Do we have any real chance against them? They've had interstellar travel for who knows how long." Kim considered the question carefully. "They have more advanced technology overall, yes, but we have surprise and specialization. Our ships are designed for one purpose, to counter their specific technologies. And throughout history, specialized forces have defeated technologically superior enemies when the conditions were right." Lee nodded, not entirely convinced. "Besides," Kim added, "they don't understand humans. They think we're primitive because we haven't mastered faster-than-light travel. But we've mastered something they may not expect: adaptation. Humans have always turned other strengths against them." The day before the planned confrontation, Kim addressed all Star Destroyer crews from the command center beneath Mount Fuji. "Tomorrow, we reveal ourselves to the galaxy," she said. "The Council believes they're collecting tribute from a subservient species. Instead, they'll meet humanity's real face. We don't bow to threats. We don't surrender our freedom. We meet force with force, but we prefer peace between equals." She paused, looking at the determined faces on her screen. They've watched us for centuries, but they've never truly seen us. Tomorrow, the galaxy will know. Humanity will choose its own destiny. As the crews cheered, Kim turned to her executive officer. Are the ships in position? Yes, Admiral. All 30 vessels are hidden in low orbit, shielded from their sensors. They're ready to deploy the moment the Council ships arrive for tribute. Kim nodded, staring at the tactical display, showing the Council's main fleet in high orbit. Tomorrow, everything changes. For them and for us. Massive harvester ships descended through Earth's clouds on the morning of the deadline. Their engines glowed blue against the dawn sky as they approached the designated collection points. Massive clearings in forests and deserts where the Council expected to find minerals, technology samples, and the first group of human laborers. In the command center beneath Mount Fuji, Admiral Kim Ji-woo watched the vessels approach on the main screen. Around her, officers monitored systems and maintained communications with the hidden star destroyers. All Council harvester ships have entered the atmosphere, reported Lieutenant Park. 7 primary vessels approaching the collection zones. Kim nodded, her face calm despite the tension in the room. Status of our fleet. All 30 star destroyers report ready, Admiral. Dark energy reactors at full capacity. Dampening weapons charge. Kim took a deep breath. Humanity's future would be decided in the next few minutes. Begin Operation Rising Dawn. Throughout the command center, officers relayed the order to the waiting ships. In hangars beneath the oceans, hidden in mountain ranges, and concealed under desert sands, the star destroyers powered up. The Council's lead harvester, a massive silver vessel stretching 2 kilometers, hovered over the Amazon collection point. Its bottom opened to reveal collection equipment and landing platforms. A voice boomed across the clearing, speaking in perfect English. Bring forth your tribute. Processing will begin immediately. But no humans came forward. No resources sat waiting. Inside the Council ship, Commander Drex grew impatient. Scan the surrounding areas. Find the humans. His technician worked the controls. Sir, I'm detecting unusual energy readings. There. The technician never finished his sentence. The ground beneath the clearing split open. From the massive hidden hangar rose the Star Destroyer Defiance, its black hull absorbing the morning sunlight. The Council ship's sensors blared warnings as the human vessel ascended to hover at the same altitude. Similar scenes played out at every collection point around the planet. From the ocean, from mountains, from deserts, star destroyers emerged to face each Council harvester. In orbit, more human ships appeared, their stealth systems deactivating to reveal their positions surrounding the Council's main fleet. In the Mount Fuji Command Center, Kim opened a channel to the Council's command ship. This is Admiral Kim Ji-woo of the United Earth Defense Force. The people of Earth reject your demand for tribute. We offer instead an alliance between equals or nothing at all. On the main Council vessel, High Counselor Urix stared at the human woman on his screen with all 4 eyes widened in shock. Behind him, Council technicians frantically analyzed the human vessels. Impossible, Urix said. Your species lacks the technological development for such ships. You underestimated us, Kim replied simply. You observed our public technology but missed what we kept hidden. The Star Destroyer fleet was designed specifically to counter your vessels. Urix's skin darkened with anger. This is unprecedented defiance. No newly contacted species has ever. Humans are different, Kim interrupted. We value our freedom above all. We've spent centuries fighting among ourselves for it. Did you think we would surrender it to outsiders without resistance? The Council chamber fell silent as Urix considered this. Finally, he spoke to his advisors. Analyze their vessels. Are they a genuine threat? A technician answered. The ships show energy readings unlike anything we've encountered. Their hulls absorb our scanning beams. We cannot determine their full capabilities. Urix turned back to the screen. Admiral Kim, this display changes nothing. Your ships, impressive as they may appear, cannot match the Council fleet's firepower. Stand down now, and we may overlook this defiance. Kim's expression remained unchanged. We don't wish for conflict, Counselor, but we will not submit. Scan our vessels more closely. You'll find they're designed specifically to neutralize your technology. In orbit, Captain Choi Jun-ho commanded the Star Destroyer Defiance as it faced a Council harvester. On his bridge, the crew monitored the alien vessel's every movement. "They're charging weapons," his tactical officer announced. Choi nodded. "Hold position. Don't fire unless fired upon." Throughout Earth's atmosphere and orbit, 30 Star Destroyers maintained their positions, neither attacking nor retreating. The black ships formed a protective shield between the planet and the Council vessels. In the Council command ship, Urix conferred with his military advisor. "Their positioning is too precise to be coincidental. They've studied our approach patterns." "It could be a bluff," the advisor suggested. "Their vessels may look impressive but lack actual capabilities." Urix's inner eyelids blinked rapidly, a sign of his uncertainty. "Test them. Order Harvester 4 to fire a warning shot near one of their vessels." The order went out. Near the North American collection point, a Council harvester fired an energy beam that deliberately missed the Star Destroyer Resilience by mere meters. Captain Lee Min-ho of the Resilience maintained his calm. No response. "Hold position." Admiral Kim watched the exchange from the command center. "They're testing us." Her prediction proved correct. The Council ship fired again, this time directly at the Resilience. The energy beam struck the Star Destroyer's hull and vanished. The specialized absorption material converted the weapon's energy and fed it into the ship's dark energy reactor. In the Council command ship, alarms sounded. "Energy weapon had no effect," reported a shock technician. "Their hull absorbed the entire discharge." Urix stood up. "Impossible." On Earth, Kim allowed herself a small smile. Now they understand. She opened the channel again. "High Counselor, as you can see, our vessels were designed with your weapons in mind. We've studied your technology for years through intercepted communications and sensor readings. We prepared for this day." Urix's voice trembled with rage. "This defiance will not stand. The Council has subjugated thousands of species. You will not be the exception." "We don't wish to fight," Kim answered. "We offer friendship, trade, cultural exchange, but as equals, not subjects. The Council does not negotiate with primitive species. Then you leave us no choice but to demonstrate our full capabilities." Kim closed the channel and gave new orders. "All ships, prepare dampening weapons. Target propulsion and weapons systems only. Remember, disable, don't destroy." Throughout Earth's atmosphere and orbit, the Star Destroyer's specialized weapons powered up. Humanity's message was clear. They would not fire first, but they stood ready to defend themselves. In orbit, tense moments passed as the Council fleet and Earth's Star Destroyers faced each other. Two civilizations at a crossroads, one ancient and accustomed to dominance, the other young but refusing to bow. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see which would break first. The Council command ship fired first. Its massive energy cannon unleashed a blinding beam at the Star Destroyer Defiance. The beam struck the black hull and seemed to vanish, absorbed completely by the specialized materials. On the bridge, Captain Choi Jun-ho felt the ship vibrate slightly as the dark energy reactors processed the incoming power. "Energy absorption at 98% efficiency," reported his engineer. "Reactors storing the excess power." Choi nodded calmly. "Target their main propulsion system, dampening beam only." The weapons officer activated the Star Destroyer's primary weapon. A pulse of blue-white energy shot from the human vessel, striking the Council ship with surgical precision. The alien vessel's engines flickered and died, leaving it drifting in Earth's orbit. Across the planet, the Council ships attacked. Each met the same response. Their weapons proved ineffective against the Star Destroyer's absorption technology, and each was answered with precise dampening beams that disabled their systems without causing destruction. In the command center beneath Mount Fuji, Admiral Kim watched the tactical display as council ships went dark one by one. "Status report," she ordered. 17 council vessels disabled. Lieutenant Park announced. No casualties reported on either side. Dampening weapons functioning at optimal levels. Kim nodded. The Star Destroyers were performing even better than expected. The plan had been risky. To let the Council fire first, proving that humans weren't the aggressors while demonstrating the ineffectiveness of alien weapons against Earth's fleet. On the main Council vessel, High Counselor Urix stared in disbelief at the tactical display. Half his fleet hung helpless in space, their engines and weapons disabled by technology he had believed impossible from such a young species. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. His science officer looked equally confused. "Their vessels somehow absorb our energy weapons completely, and their dampening technology. It's like nothing we've encountered. It targets specific systems without damaging the hull or life support." "Impossible. They're barely a century into their space age." A communications officer interrupted. "Sir, we're receiving reports from the surface ships. All harvesters have lost propulsion and weapons. They're stranded but otherwise intact." Urix's skin changed color with rage and fear. This was their plan all along. "They let us believe they were primitive while developing weapons specifically designed to counter our technology." On the Star Destroyer Justice, Commander Kang watched as his dampening beam disabled another Council vessel. The alien ship's lights flickered but remained on, their life support systems untouched as programmed. "Target neutralized," reported his tactical officer. Kang nodded. "Confirm life signs stable." "Confirmed. Their crew appears unharmed." "Good. Move to the next target." Admiral Kim observed the careful precision of the Star Destroyer fleet with pride. Humanity was proving itself not just technologically capable, but morally restrained as well. The ships followed their programming perfectly. Disable, don't destroy. After 20 minutes, the tactical display showed all Council vessels neutralized. 27 alien ships hung powerless in orbit or floated in Earth's atmosphere, their engines and weapons offline but crew quarters and life support fully functional. "Open a channel to the Council command ship," Kim ordered. High Counselor Urix appeared on screen, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in what humans had learned was a sign of extreme stress. "This is impossible," Urix said before Kim could speak. "Your species cannot possess such technology." "Yet we do," Kim replied calmly. "We could destroy your ships, but that's not our intention. Humans don't seek dominance. We seek respect. Your ships will be released when we've negotiated as equals." "The Council does not negotiate with." "You keep saying that," Kim interrupted, "but your current situation suggests you should reconsider. Your entire fleet has been neutralized without a single casualty. We could have destroyed every vessel, but we chose not to." In the background of Urix's transmission, Kim could see other Council members arguing frantically. The Council species had never encountered this situation before. Complete military defeat without destruction, from a species they had deemed primitive. "What do you want?" Urix finally asked, his voice quieter. "Recognition as equals, a seat on your Galactic Council, fair trade agreements instead of tribute, and guarantees that Earth will maintain its independence." Urix's eyes narrowed. "And if we refuse?" Kim's expression remained neutral. "Then your ships remain disabled, and should your reinforcements arrive, they'll meet the same fate. We've been preparing for this day for 15 years, Counselor. We have more Star Destroyers under construction." This was partly a bluff. Earth had committed almost all its resources to the 30 existing vessels. But Urix couldn't know that. On the Council command ship, Urix turned to his advisors. "Is there any way to counter their technology?" The chief scientist shook his head. "Not without extensive study. Their dampening beams operate on principles we haven't encountered before. They somehow identify and target specific energy signatures in our systems." And our weapons? Completely ineffective. Their hulls seemed to convert energy attacks into power for their own systems. Urix turned back to the screen. Admiral Kim, the Council requires time to discuss your proposal. You have 1 Earth hour, Kim replied. After that, we will begin moving your disabled vessels to holding positions further from Earth. When the transmission ended, Lieutenant Park turned to Kim. Do you think they'll agree? Kim watched the tactical display showing the disabled Council fleet. They have no choice. Their ships are helpless, and they now know any reinforcements would face the same technology. Pride may make them resist initially, but logic will prevail. Captain Choi reported from the Defiance. Admiral, we're detecting communication attempts between the Council command ship and what appears to be a relay station at the edge of our solar system. As expected, Kim replied. They're calling for help. Let them. By the time reinforcements arrive, we'll have either reached an agreement or moved their ships to secure locations. Throughout Earth's orbit, the Star Destroyers maintained their positions around the disabled Council vessels. Occasionally, a Council ship would attempt to restart its systems, only to be immediately hit with another precision-dampening beam. On the Resilience, Captain Lee watched the Council harvester his ship had disabled. They'd never faced this situation before, he commented to his first officer. An inferior species with superior specialized technology. They underestimated human ingenuity, the officer replied. And our determination, Lee added. When we intercepted their first transmissions 15 years ago, they had no idea we were already studying their weaknesses. As the hour deadline approached, Earth's leaders gathered virtually in the command center. President Yoon addressed Admiral Kim. You've succeeded beyond our highest expectations. Admiral, now we move to the diplomatic phase. Kim nodded. They're calling for reinforcements, but they know more ships won't change the situation. They'll negotiate. And if they try to stall? Asked the Secretary General. Then we demonstrate Phase 2, Kim answered. Our ability to completely power down their life support systems. Temporarily, of course. Just enough to show them we could, but choose not to. The screen lit up with an incoming transmission from the Council command ship. High Counselor Urix appeared, looking decidedly less confident than before. Admiral Kim, he said stiffly, the Council is prepared to discuss your terms. Kim allowed herself a small smile. Excellent. As a gesture of good faith, we will restore partial power to your command ship so you can stabilize your position in orbit. The rest of your fleet will remain disabled until our negotiations conclude successfully. Humanity's first diplomatic contact with the Galactic Council was about to begin, and for the first time in Council history, they would negotiate as equals with a newly discovered species. The massive Council chamber stretched across what seemed like a kilometer of polished stone. Representatives from 5,000 worlds filled the tiered seating, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of galactic life. Some floated in special atmosphere chambers, others stood on multiple legs, while many appeared surprisingly humanoid. Admiral Kim Ji-woo walked slowly down the central aisle, flanked by Earth's hastily assembled diplomatic team. She wore her formal military uniform with the new Earth Alliance insignia, a stylized planet with a protective shield. The chamber fell silent as they approached the speaking platform. 3 days earlier, the Council ships had hung powerless in Earth's orbit. Now, after intense negotiations, the Council had agreed to hear Earth's petition for full membership, something no newly contacted species had ever received without centuries of supervised development. High Counselor Urix waited at the central podium, his blue-gray skin reflecting the chamber's lights. His 4 eyes tracked Kim's approach with clear discomfort. The Council recognizes Admiral Kim Ji-woo of Earth, Urix announced, his voice lacking its former arrogance. Kim stepped onto the platform. Thousands of alien eyes focused on her, the representative of a species that had defied the established order of galactic politics. Honored representatives, Kim began, her voice carrying through the chamber's perfect acoustics. 3 days ago, your ships came to Earth demanding tribute. today, I stand before you offering something different: partnership. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. A large insectoid creature rose from the third tier. Your species attacked council vessels. This is unprecedented. We disabled ships that fired upon us first, Kim corrected calmly. We took care to ensure no lives were lost. When we could have destroyed your fleet, we chose restraint. The massive screens around the chamber displayed images of the confrontation. Council ships firing upon star destroyers, the energy weapons being absorbed, and the precise dampening beams disabling but not destroying the alien vessels. For millennia, Kim continued, the Council has approached new species with demands rather than greetings. You classify worlds as primitive or advanced based solely on whether they've achieved faster than light travel. Yet Earth, without FTL capability, created technology that neutralized your most powerful ships. Urix shifted uncomfortably. Your point, Admiral. My point is that your evaluation system is flawed. Humanity developed along a different technological path. While you advanced in propulsion, we focused on energy manipulation and absorption. There are many paths to advancement, not just the one the Council recognizes. A reptilian delegate hissed from the second tier. You speak boldly for a species that has never left its own solar system. Kim nodded. Yes, and that's precisely why the Council needs Earth's perspective. You've become homogenized in your thinking. When all your member species follow the same development path, innovation stagnates. She gestured to the screens, which now showed Earth's star destroyers maintaining position around the disabled Council fleet. Humanity will join this Council, but not as subjects. We bring new perspectives and technologies. We've learned you've been doing this for millennia, finding new species and subjugating them through intimidation. That era ends today. The chamber erupted in objections. Species that had benefited from the old system voiced their protests loudly. Urix banged his ceremonial staff for order. You propose to overturn thousands of years of established protocol, shouted a gaseous being from a floating platform. I propose to improve it, Kim replied. Earth offers technological exchange, cultural cooperation, and military alliance as equals. And we suspect we're not the only species that developed along non-standard paths. How many others have you overlooked or classified as primitive because they excel in areas you don't value? A humanoid with silver skin and 4 arms rose from the front row. The human makes a valid point. The Zeteri have long argued that the Council's classification system is outdated. Other voices joined in support. Kim realized that Earth's stand had emboldened species who had privately questioned the Council's methods, but never dared speak out. High Counselor Urix raised all 4 hands for silence. Admiral Kim, while your demonstration has been impressive, the Council cannot simply grant full membership to a non-FTL species. There are protocols. Protocols created by the founding species to maintain their power, Kim interrupted. The question before you is simple. Will the Council evolve, or will it cling to outdated hierarchies until another Earth, perhaps not as peaceful, forces change through less gentle means? On the massive view screens, Earth's star destroyers remained in formation around the now functional but heavily monitored Council fleet. The message was clear. Humanity came in peace but stood ready to defend itself. The Council debated for hours. Species aligned with the founding members argued against Earth's petition, while those who had chafed under the hierarchy supported it. Kim and her team stood firm through it all. Finally, Urix called for a vote. The chamber's atmosphere grew tense as each representative registered their position. When the final tally appeared on the main screen, a collective gasp echoed through the chamber. By the narrowest margin in Council history, Earth's petition had been approved. Urix's inner eyelids blinked rapidly as he read the official proclamation. Earth is granted full Council membership with all rights and responsibilities therein. This unprecedented decision reflects the Council's recognition of Earth's unique technological development and diplomatic approach. Kim bowed slightly. Earth thanks the Council for its wisdom. We look forward to contributing to galactic stability and progress." As the formal session ended, representatives crowded around the Earth delegation. Some offered congratulations, others sought technological alliances, and a few issued thinly veiled warnings about upsetting the established order. A small green-skinned being approached Kim privately. "I am Ambassador Quill of the Meridian Collective. Your actions have given hope to many mid-tier worlds. The old powers will not easily surrender their advantages." "We expected resistance," Kim replied. "But change was inevitable. Better it comes peacefully than through conflict." Quill's large eyes blinked thoughtfully. "You've created powerful enemies today, Admiral. The founding species have controlled the Council for 50,000 years. They will not simply accept Earth as an equal. We understand the risks. That's why our Star Destroyers will remain operational, even as we pursue peaceful cooperation." 1 month later, Kim stood on the observation deck of Earth's new embassy on the Council homeworld. Below her stretched the gleaming capital city of the galactic government. Behind her stood Captain Choi and Captain Lee, who had commanded Star Destroyers during the confrontation. "Was it worth it?" Choi asked, watching the alien traffic move through the city's skyways. Kim nodded. Already 17 previously overlooked species have petitioned for revaluation. The Council's exploration teams now carry scientists trained to recognize non-standard technological advancement. And 3 trading alliances have approached Earth for technology exchange. "And the Star Destroyer fleet?" Lee asked. "Remains our insurance policy," Kim replied. "Half will stay in Earth orbit. The others will accompany our diplomatic missions. We come in peace. But we're ready if peace isn't an option," Choi finished. On a balcony above them, unseen, High Counselor Urix observed the humans with his 4 eyes narrowed in thought. The Earth situation had cost him political standing, but it had also revealed weaknesses in the Council's approach. Weaknesses that, if addressed, might strengthen the galactic government. Perhaps these humans, with their strange combination of peacemaking and preparedness for war, their technological innovation alongside philosophical idealism, would bring useful change to a system grown too comfortable in its power. Or perhaps they would upset the delicate balance that had maintained peace for millennia. Either way, the galaxy had entered a new era. As ships from Earth began their first diplomatic missions to distant worlds, they carried the Star Destroyers alongside them. Silent reminders of humanity's core message: we come in peace, but never mistake our desire for cooperation as weakness. The end.